fire, a snake wrapped around my neck. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests, it's Christmas 1997. My family has just opened the presents, and as a minor, just so, I could still ask for cuddly toys. There was one present left though, a gift that came in the form of a story. A story I was never meant to tell. Back then I decided to keep it to myself and save it for someone special. And then 3 years ago, I joined Toastmasters. And I learned not only how to share stories, but also to share stories in the first place, because I discovered that everyone has stories that are worth sharing. Here at London Olympians, I've been at many places, from Mauritius to Prague. I've been cruising on a boat on the canals in England. I've been cycling in Nepal. I learned about the healing aspects of tea and how to accept my own body. And it's in this environment that I was given the tools and the encouragement to share with you the story of my grandparents and their simple, beautiful love that had such a profound impact on me. Christmas 1997 had been a simple affair for our family, for we missed the biggest child around the Christmas tree, my grandpa, who died a month before. As we were opening the Christmas presents, we left the last one for Nan. It was a present I bought for her many, many months ago. It was this photo of Grandpa. One of the last ones that were ever made of him. Usually, Grandpa always looked almost teasingly sideways at photos or at Nan, but never straight in the camera until this photo. I immediately knew I wanted to give it to Nan when I saw it. She kept herself strong throughout the evening, but when she saw the photo for the very first time, she couldn't compose herself anymore. So I, snake still wrapped around my neck, went and sit next to her and comfort her while she was talking about Grandpa, being fixated on the photo. In one of the most memorable moments of my life, Nan said, "Do you know what I miss most about Grandpa? It's not that he was always there." And that was a big thing for Nan, having someone who was always there. You see, Nan was a typical Dutch woman from the 20th century. When she was born in 1922, women in the Netherlands had just obtained voting rights, but not much had really changed for women, particularly not for those in smaller towns like Nan. After primary school, she was not supposed to continue her education, but had to work. And when she got engaged, she had to quit her job and be a devoted housewife. For 25 years she was married, until one day suddenly her husband left her for another woman. It was the scandal of the year in her town. You've got a Dutch phrase that literally translates to be thrown away like an old shoe. But Nan, ever the drama queen, always used to say, "I was thrown away like an old shoebox." All that was left for her to do was to be a cleaner at other people's homes. One of her friends knew this gentleman who just lost his wife, and he needed help. So one day, my Nan went to the big city to Rotterdam to help him out. And that is how Nan and Grandpa met. She was 47, he was 65, the old fox, and they spent 28 wonderful years together. And he was always there for her, after all she has been through. But that wasn't the thing that she missed most. Neither, she said, was it that he was always interested in her and always encouraged her. As I said, my Nan came from a small town, and for her to move to a big city to live with him must have been as big as a jump as it was for me when I moved to London 5.5 years ago to another country in that sense. She did that. It was her bravery to jump, But Grandpa was like the rock she could lean on. With his support, Nan embraced her new life. She met new friends. She joined feminist clubs. She did numerous courses, including English, which she did for more than 20 years, because every 2 years they did the course again, and she just happily went along. She transformed, with him as her biggest champion. But it was neither his interest nor his encouragement that she missed most. When she told me what she missed most, I could picture the scene immediately, for I was a witness to that daily ritual every time I visited them. When I came over for dinner, Grandpa used to make the chicken, truly the best chicken in the world, and then the mashed potatoes and spinach. After dinner, Grandma would go to the kitchen, at which point Grandpa would call for her. Jan! Jannie! Nan then rushed back into the room, visibly irritated, and Grandpa would gesture her to come over. Now, Nan wasn't the only one. Everyone he loved was familiar with the so-called broken jaw kisses of Grandpa. What he used to do, including me, he used to take my hand in his hands, and he had these big, massive hands, and give me a firm smack on my face. It was always difficult to maintain my balance after that. But with Nan, he did something else. As he had her head in his hands, he would look at her intensely with his bright blue eyes and said, "I am so very happy with you." For 28 years, he told her that, every day. Whether they had a fight or not, whether they were together or not, he would make sure he told her that. And that is what Nan missed most, when we were sitting there looking at Grandpa's photo. "I am so very happy with you." Wouldn't it be wonderful if someone told you that? Well, actually, instead of waiting for the princess on the white horse to come and tell me that, I thought instantly to myself at that moment, I want to be like my grandpa. I want to say that to someone and really mean it. So I decided to keep it to myself and save it for my special one. Book closed. Or is it? As Maya Angelou once said, there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story in you. That story doesn't have to be grand. I'm a firm believer that little things matter. And doesn't the story of the beautiful, simple love of my grandparents prove just that? What an impact that simple phrase had on my Nan. Imagine you can have such a positive influence on someone by simply saying that. It was time to open the book and to share the story. And so, I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Though it has been said many times in many ways, I am so very happy with you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you.